Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. How are you today? Are you sure you're fine? Okay. Good. Today we're going to continue with the Romantics. I mean, like in the previous lectures, we spoke about William Blake, and we spoke about him as being like a pre-romantic, or in other words, the harbinger of Romanticism. So today we are going to talk further, but in much more conspicuous manner, about Romanticism. We're honored again to have, Ms. Ahlam talking about Romanticism, because she's a specialist in this field. She's teaching a course called Romanticism, so we're lucky to have her to talk about Romanticism. But before she talks, I want to see what you read, what you know about Romanticism. So our starting point would be from you, like what you are going to tell us about, or what do you guess, what is Romanticism? And then she would be start to deliver her, lecture or presentation. As usual, we're going to listen to, a report. And yes, please. So we have a different student reading the report.
Hello, everybody.
Just go.
I have a paper, I have a pen, lots of pain, and nothing to say. I have a mind, I have a heart, lots of grave, and nothing to say. Daffodils everywhere, birds singing melodious songs. Everything is chanting around. The table, the lamp, the chair. But I still have nothing to say. One would wonder how could tangled creatures speak, shout, clap, and all my movement away. What's happened? What's hanged the word? What sold my words to stray? Come walk I, come sit I, come laugh I, and come cry I, but at all still have nothing to say.
Okay, clap for her. I think this is a good introduction, to romantic poetry. Thank you very much. Still, we have a space for another students, and this student might be complaining. We don't care. You can show your complaint here. Okay, it's your right. As I told you, to protest, to criticize, to say whatever you want to say. Khawla, do you have something to say?
I have my report.
Okay, come, read it, please.
It was a lecture which Dr. Akram completed the tiger. Mrs. Ahlam again come and explain her opinion of the meaning of the tiger. And Dr. Akram made a new discussion as a debate between two teams. Dr. Akram with one team which support the idea of industrial revolution, while Mrs. Ahlam with the other team who support the idea of poetic creation. During the debate, some of the students gave their opinion. I myself support the idea of industrial revolution because the poem is full of the evidences for that idea. Actually, it was a great debate because each team respected the other's opinion. Dr. Akram also changed the atmosphere of the lecture by doing this discussion. Finally, Dr. Akram thanks Mrs. Ahlam and her team and all the students.
Yeah, in fact, I was very pleased last time because once we argued, something against our convention, I was afraid, what I'm going to say. But in fact, when you argue against your conviction, you are forced to explore a new territory. This is what I, thought. Good. So, Romanticism, Wordsworth, Coleridge, William Blake, I don't know. What have you read for us? I just want keywords. Have you read anything about Romanticism before coming to William Blake? Yes. Yes?
Romanticism always associated with the common man and common language.
Okay.
Which refer to nature.
So when we are talking about Romanticism, we are talking about ordinary people. Good. Good point. We can make a checklist. You see?
Romanticism, it is a movement emerged in the 16th century as a reaction of the industrial
So yes, it is.
Songs to going back to nature as a holding power to.
Very good. This is okay. Too much like reaction, nature, you know, and as a reaction to what you said?
Industrial revolution.
Industrial revolution. Good. So we want to see romanticism like as a reaction to industrial movement. Okay.
I also read about the romantic subjectivity. The poet is writing about his experience and his feelings. For example, William Wordsworth said, "I want to grow lonely."
So we're no longer, you know, invited like to a poet who is concerned with the whole society, but with the individual. Individualism, like, and individual concerns were an issue. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Poetic experience and using imagination to express the
Yes. Imagination, like you can answer. Okay. Imagination. Yes. They were talking about imagination and feelings. Do you want to say?
yes.
Okay, good.
Source of imagination and inspiration.
Pardon?
Nature was their source of imagination.
Yeah, I think this is, you know, I don't know, like whether Ms. Ahlam will agree with you that nature was the source of imagination, because here the intricate relationship between imagination and nature should be, hopefully, you know, today, you know, it should be resolved. And I'm sure, like, Mrs. Ahlam is going to resolve this intricate relationship, because it is there. Once we understand this, we're going to understand the daffodils in a good way. Thank you very much. Yes, Ola?
Maybe to be exact, the nature is the inspiration of the imagination of the poets at that time.
So the imagination is there, but like it is, you know, inspiring. So again, you know, this relationship between nature and imagination is a point which we should, you know, spend some time on. Yes, Hidayah?
I took the course, so
I know, and you know, I cherish the fact that you are joining us, you know. Yes?
Yeah, so I wrote some of what I recalled from my mind. It's a revolution had in the time of industrial revolution. It was a revolution against the desensitized people and the humanitarian.
So romanticism, like, you know, is linked with revolutions.
Yeah, it is
Like,
itself a revolution.
you know, the spring of the Arabs. Like now it has spring, you know. Like this is a new name for romanticism, you know, spring. The spring of the Arabs.
Yeah.
It has to do with revolution. What else? Very good. I'm happy like all of you. Yes.
Romanticism emphasizes on the individual's expression of emotion and imagination.
Yes, the stress, there is a shift from the outside to the inside. It's okay. It's good that you answer, because, you know, when I evaluate your participation, I go back to the videos and look who's like raising her hand, and, you know. So be careful. Yes? Thank you.
About the form, the romantic poets didn't care about the alive or living, and
Yeah.
express their feelings.
So they were not interested, you know, in the form. You know, they were not governed by the form. Okay, good. It seems I'm going to abort everything, you know, but no. Yes?
Finally, romanticism is against the industrial revolution in all its
I like the against. Everything is against, you know. But it is very interesting, like nobody told me when the romantic, you know, period started, you know, because this is, okay. When did it start?
In the late of 18th century.
Yeah, it started in Europe
after the French Revolution.
after the French Revolution. And when did it end? You know? Very good, thank you. It didn't end. So, like, this is, you know, it is not easy to define when it started and when it ended. However, like, you know, some people might say, okay, these are the dates, because, you know, when Romanticism flourished, so there are certain dates. Okay, I think, you know, Mrs. Ahlam, you have a good audience. They have, you know, read something about Romanticism. And, okay, you are invited, like, to come and to start. talking. And so, how do you want me like to participate or?
No, it's okay.
Okay, good.
If you want to add something, that's okay.
Okay, I'll be there.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. How are you today? Okay. So again, back to you with another, let's say, focus on Romanticism today. I'm not going to talk about Romanticism in general, but I'm going to focus on William Wordsworth with his, theories in poetry, since you are going to study the daffodils next time. So this will be a kind of preparation for you, inshallah. Okay, back to the previous lectures about William Blake. I don't know if you are still confused about the main focus of the tiger or not. Are you still confused? Or everything is clear now? So back to him. And the tiger, tell me please, what are the main focuses in the poem? The main themes? Since you are not confused. Huh? Yes.
The poetic imagination and the industrial revolution.
What else? So we discussed last time in the debate two main focuses, which are again the poetic creation, and the second one is the industrial revolution, as the main focuses of William Blake and the tiger, right? Okay, we can add another thing, which is what? The two contradictory states of the human soul, the evil and the goodness, right? So we have the tiger, which symbolizes the evil of the human soul, and the lamb, which symbolizes the goodness of the human soul. Because again, we mentioned that he is so interested in the human soul with all its dimensions. In childhood, and when the child became mature enough, okay? So in maturity, we got experience, right? So we will be a little bit corrupted if we are not going to, let's say, maintain the childhood spirit within us. Because again, he is so interested in the childlike vision. This vision of the child can be found again in maturity. Even when you are mature, you might have the spirit of the child within yourself, right or not? So this is again his interest in the tiger, and again you can just go ahead and explain.
What is experience? Because we have, what is experience? Like, does experience corrupt innocence? What do we mean by experience?
Yeah, sometimes again. So experience doesn't totally corrupt the human spirit. Because again, it doesn't have all the, again, negative sides, but it has some positive sides too.
Yeah.
But again, go
when
ahead.
we talk about like experience, like we are talking about like, the corrupted moral code. We're talking about, the corrupted religion.
Yeah.
So this is experience, the selfish individual values. This is like or these are the negative aspects of experience. These things, destroy innocence. If you find somebody coming with materialistic values or with corrupted religion, this is experience which, blurs and corrupts innocence.
That's it. Because of this reason, from what Dr. Akram said, we can say that, William Blake is the most humanitarian romantic poet. And I don't know if you know the meaning of a humanitarian. He is so interested in the human welfare, the human goodness, right? So he is supporting humanity. By what? By actually his main ideas in poetry. So he is against selfishness, he is against the evil powers, he is against the corruption of the church, so many things. So again, you can put it under the ugly experience or the bad experience of a humanity. Fine? Okay. So from William Blake, we are going to move to another poet who is William Wordsworth. And again, what you have said at the beginning of the class is enough again about Romanticism. You mentioned so many characteristics about the period. You can start with what? The powerful feelings, the emotions. It is the time of expression. It is the time of freedom. It is the time of simplicity. It is the time of what again? Individualism, subjectivity, the expression of the feelings and the emotions again. Fine. William Wordsworth is a little bit different regarding other romantic poets. He is different from Coleridge, from Keats, from, let's say, Byron, from Shelley. So every romantic poet has, let's say, thumb marks and the period. And again, each one is identified with a specific thing. Regarding William Blake, we mentioned that he is the most humanitarian poet. Regarding William Wordsworth, he is the poet of nature. Regarding, let's say, Coleridge, he is the poet of imagination. Byron, it is regarding the exotic beauty, and you can search for the meaning of the word exotic. Yeah,
image, is the poet of imagery.
That's it. Okay.
Called synthesia.
Yeah. Shelley is the poet of what? Universality of poetry, beauty too. Keats also is the poet of beauty, but again, each one dealt with the beauty in his own way and is in his own thinking. So let's start again with William Wordsworth. As you know, in his time, the physical world and again the spirit of the humans were all governed by the mechanical laws and reason, right? But when he came, and with the publication of the lyrical ballads, and I don't know if you know the lyrical ballads. Okay, now those lyrical ballads were written by William Wordsworth and Coleridge. So both of them wrote that. And here we can consider, or many critics, let's say, consider the publication of the lyrical ballads as the beginning of the Romantic period. And as you mentioned with Dr. Akram at the beginning, so there is no specific time for the beginning of Romanticism. Some marked it with the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. Some said that it is the beginning of the French Revolution. Some said that it is by the publication of the lyrical ballads, which is written by Coleridge and William Wordsworth. Okay.
Did they preface the lyrical ballads?
Who wrote the preface? It is William Wordsworth. He started,
the preface.
Yeah, because he expresses,
The preface itself is what you can say the manifesto. It's the announcement. Yeah. So if you want to understand like the rules and the characteristics of Romanticism, you have to read. And again, it's not difficult. You can just write the preface of the lyrical ballads, and you can read. They speak about their philosophy more in a deeper way.
Exactly. So they put their all, again, ideas, beliefs regarding poetry and the poet. Especially, again, William Wordsworth, because he's the one who wrote the lyrical ballads. And the lyrical ballads, again, starts with the rhyme of the ancient mariner for Coleridge and ends with Tintern Abbey for William Wordsworth. Fine? Okay. Now, again, in his poetry, he is always identified by himself and by us as readers regarding the point of his view regarding nature. Nature's relationship to man and man's relationship to nature. Because again, they are complementary. We cannot again separate nature from man and separate man from nature in his poetry, in his ideas, and his beliefs. So today, I'm going to explain William Wordsworth's ideas regarding poetry, the poet, and nature. So we are going just to go in series here. So first, I think all of you know the definition of poetry and the Wordsworthian term, let's say. So what is poetry for William Wordsworth?
The famous definition.
Yeah. Yes, there.
The spontaneous overflow of the powerful feeling arising from emotion recollected by the
Give her a chance, please. Okay. So it is, again, the powerful overflow or the spontaneous, it is very crucial word also, yes, the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings and emotions.
It's very tricky.
Yeah, recollected and tranquility. Now, if you look at the definition and the words of the definition, you can deduce the meaning of poetry for him. The main principles that govern the idea of poetry for William Wordsworth. Because again, in his preface, he explained the relationship between the poet and the poetry, not between the poetry and the reader, as again what explained before in the other ages. So they started a new phase, explaining the definition of poetry and the poet. Because the poet is Huh? The one who is
able to express about his feelings.
okay, he is able to express his feelings, and from the man or the poet as a man, we can just universalize the idea of poetry, because again he stands for the whole humanity. The poet is again standing for the whole humanity. So when we say that poetry is a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings and emotions, so the word spontaneous means what here? Yes. It is not planned, exactly. So it comes smoothly, right? Simple. Whatever he feels, he writes without thinking. Whatever comes to his mind, to his heart, he writes about it in a spontaneous way of powerful feelings and emotions. Again, the powerful feelings and emotions distinguishes the romantic period from other periods, because again it is what? Expressions of what? Feelings. Okay. Recollected and tranquility. So the word recollected reflects what? Yes.
The writing of the poet itself, he is meaning that the poet have two experiences, primary experience and a secondary experience.
Yes, right.
The first experience would he feel the things, and he can't write it because it would be like a interpretation for his feelings.
Yes.
But he should write it when he recollected in tranquility, and so in this state he can write poetry.
So you are right. Yes, good.
Maybe it indicates to the creativity and the imagination of the poet.
Good. The creativity. Yes, what else?
Maybe deals with the memory of that experience and the old experience that deals with the mind itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Can
again,
I just comment,
yeah.
because I think the word spontaneous is a little bit tricky.
Yes.
When we are talking about spontaneous, we are talking about our reaction, how we record our feelings. Because when you see, when you smell, this is something spontaneous.
Yeah.
So the way we are like imbibing, or internalizing, feelings, this is very spontaneous. However, these feelings and these experiences come to the mind in a spontaneous manner. We don't plan them. They come to the mind, and then, they are
Stored.
recollected in tranquility.
They are stored in the mind, and then they are recollected. So again, we have two key words here can be related to the word recollected: memory and contemplation.
Yes.
Got it? Memory and contemplation. Did you get the two words? Okay. Now here what we mean by memory, that the writer, or again the poet, when he is experiencing the experience, he is not writing about it on the spot.
Yes.
Got it? But it is written after specific period. Now, when you write something that happened to you in the past, what you are going to need? You are going to need memory, right? And you need to contemplate, just to sit like this and think of what happened to you there. In tranquility. Now, tranquility means what? It means the peace of mind. The peace of mind. Now here the word peace is very crucial, again for the romantics. Again, you cannot write under any pressure, under any stress, but you need to feel that you are comfortable, relaxed, in order to produce something creative. And this is poetry.
Can we add the tranquility of nature, because
this is what I'm going to say. Yeah, mind and nature,
even the environment, nature, like
exactly,
which is the solitude itself. It is the solitude, the tranquility itself.
Again, the poet gets his peace from where? It is from nature. Nature reflects its peace on the poet. So he is going to have a kind of peace of mind since the surroundings are peaceful. Fine? Okay. So this is regarding poetry. What else do you know about the poetry for William Wordsworth? It is the poetry that talks about the incidents, the events of the common life. Now, you are going to talk about the daffodils, right? Next time. So, what are the daffodils? They are simple creatures in nature, flowers. So they are simple. They are in a common place. I mean, wherever you go, you can find them. But for an ordinary man,
would not notice.
exactly, they cannot be considered as that great to write a poetry or a poem for or about the daffodils. But the poet has that power to write. And then when we explain what the poet is, you will know why is he again more sensible than other men. Fine? Okay.
However,
Now,
like, yes, you know, in this poem he talks about the daffodils, but the great paradox, it was not about the daffodils.
Yeah.
See what I mean? That was the paradox of the poem. Yeah, he talks about the daffodils, you know, the daffodil and the beauty of the daffodils is there, but the paradox that the poem is not about the daffodils.
yes, right.
Huh? Yeah, we can debate if you
Exactly.
want. We can have another debate. They started to have
Okay.
debates, yeah?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So we mentioned that it is about common things, common places, common people, but there is a touch of imagination. Now they are not left like this, as simple as they are, but we have the imagination of the poet to add something for those simple creatures or simple things or common places. Fine? Okay. Now what is the purpose of poetry for William Wordsworth? Why is he writing poetry? Yes or no? Good. What else?
To express about his feeling and experience.
Okay, to talk about his feelings and experiences, yes.
To amuse people.
Okay, to amuse them. What else? Now, he said that the poet is writing or writes poetry under one restriction. What is that restriction? It is the necessity of giving a pleasure. So pleasure is, again, a key word. Why is he writing poetry? It is for giving pleasure. Pleasure for whom? It is pleasure for his reader and for himself. Exactly, in the first stage. And then this is going to be reflected on his reader again. Because we mentioned that the Romantics are, again, much concerned with the universality of their poetry. Even though it is individualistic, even though it is subjective, but it can go or stand for the whole humanity. Fine? Okay. What else? What is the other purpose? We mentioned that it is given pleasure. And then nature, or poetry, yes?
Taking them away from the industrial life and putting back to the beautiful countryside life, nature.
So this is related to the, again, the expression of pleasure. So again, it is giving moral lessons. Now poetry teaches people. Teaches people to be what? To be morally good. To be innocent. Since there is a kind of what? Returning back to nature itself. And we mentioned that nature is a reflection of poetry, and poetry is a reflection of nature, right? So they are, again, complete each other. We cannot divide anyone from the other side. Fine? So again, he mentioned that let nature be your teacher. So from the first principle here, we can say that nature, or poetry even, because we can replace both of them instead of the other. I mean nature instead of poetry, poetry instead of nature. So let nature be your teacher. So again, nature is teaching moral lessons. How to be, yeah.
However, this is not didactic.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we are done with the didactic poets.
Approach,
like,
yeah.
You know, in the late classical age, like they were teaching, they were writing poetry to teach and delight. Here, like, this is what I want, like, to quote Emerson.
Mm-hmm.
Nature ministers people, you know, ministers like, it is like a priest which teaches them how to behave. So nature here, with its, systematic beauty, with its beauty, gives them morality, you know, like the movement of the river, the movement of the cloud. It is like an example of, you know, you can improve your morality just by looking at nature and, you know, reflecting. It's not just like looking, reflecting on the beauty, on the divinity of nature.
Now here, yes, we can go back again to the idea of the noble savage.
Yes.
So again, it is attached to nature and the relationship between nature and humans. You know the meaning of the noble savage? Huh?
The noble savage, it's a French word.
Yeah.
It's Russian version.
It's French.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So who is the noble and why is he savage?
It's like an oxymoron.
Yeah.
The noble savage.
Being in nature makes you like
Yeah.
That's it. No, being in nature makes him noble. Right? Because nature is noble itself. Right? But why is he savage again? Because he is away from civilization. He is not civilized. Because of this reason, we can call him savage.
You know, this is the root of colonialism.
Yeah, that's
To
to educate people.
The assumption is like people who are living in nature, who are living there,
They are
savage.
not educated, they are not civilized.
This is
Yeah.
enough justification to brutalize these people.
Yes.
And I think, here, yes, I don't want to talk about my, take on about romanticism because we should be, romanticism is fascinating. But,
Yes.
Later you might change your mind.
Okay, anyway. So let's go to the definition of the poet. Who is the poet?
Wow, this is a good question.
Yeah.
Who's the poet?
Who is the poet for William
Mr.
Wordsworth?
Habib is a poet.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
Yes.
He is the person who can express his feelings using simple words that can reach his
To convey his feelings. Yeah, good. What else? Yes.
He's a sensitive man, not like ordinary people.
Yes.
So he noticed things that we cannot usually uncover or see.
So you are right. So firstly, he is a common man. So this is the thing. This is the basis, right? So he is a common man. Speaking to common people. Fine? Now, he is a common man, but he doesn't stop till this or on the border of that word. But he adds, with what? With a greater sensibility, with a greater enthusiasm, and with a greater tenderness. Now we have 3 other words which can be added to the common man. So he is a man like other people, but he is different from those sides again. Fine? And he has also a more comprehensive nature if he is compared with common people. Got it?
So look here, he wants to distinguish himself.
Yeah.
He's a common man,
Yes.
but he's distinguished.
Yeah.
He's distinguished for his sensibility, his tenderness, his enthusiasm.
Yeah.
So again, this is very intricate relationship between the poet and the common people. See what I mean? And it seems like he wants to give him the position, himself the position of a prophet, of a seer,
Yeah.
the one who can see for the others, the one who can help the others. He is like a spokesman of the mob.
The whole of humanity. Right. And another definition, which again distinguishes the period of Romanticism from other periods, that the poet is a man or a common man who strives to seek truth. You know the word truth because it is, again, the purpose behind why poets are writing poetry, to seek truth, to reach that truth. But this truth, again, is a universal one. It is not specific for a specific poet, again, or a specific person. Fine? Neither by, so he is not using, scientific ways, nor by abstraction. Now, he is not using the scientific methods of the new classical period, and he is not using the abstraction, which is the method of whom? The philosophers. So he is not a philosopher, and he is not a scientific. But by what? By the imaginative awareness of persons and things. Now he adds something. Now he is seeking a truth by which medium? It is by imagination. Again, it is a crucial word. Fine? So this is the poet for William Wordsworth. Now, from this, we can go to the nature itself, since it is the main focus. I don't know if we have enough time.
Yeah, you can go.
Okay.
Yeah, you have 5 minutes.
So, regarding nature, you need to go to 3 main ideas here. Nature as a living power. Nature as something that gives us joy and pleasure. And the third is, we mentioned that before. That, yeah, exactly. It is a moral teacher. Exactly. So from those 3 ideas, you can go and explain the relationship between humans or the poet and nature itself.
Should I add one more important thing?
Yes, you can.
Nature has, this readiness to accept, this marriage.
Yeah.
Between nature and man.
So again, if I can support what you have mentioned from Wordsworth himself, he mentioned that nature never did betray its lovers.
Wow, good. Thank you very much. This is...
Yeah. So it is a Wordsworthian idea. So again, nature never betrays its lovers. Now, if you love nature, it will love you, again, in return. Fine? Okay. Now, from the first idea that it is a living power, what do you mean by a living power? Yeah, it is a living power. Nature itself is a living power.
It is continuous.
So there is what? There is a life in every natural object. Now this will take us to the definition of the pathetic fallacy. What is the pathetic fallacy? I think you took it in
they didn't
till this
talk
moment.
about the pathetic. I think we talked about the pathetic fallacy in the description of spring.
Yeah.
A little bit like
Yeah.
when nature is sympathetic with man.
Exactly. So here, the poet is given nature some human attributes, some human capabilities. So it can dance, as what you are going to see. It can speak. It can laugh. So again, a kind of personification for nature. But it is not, again, real. Because of this reason, we call it pathetic fallacy. Fine? Now here, it is totally Wordsworthian. Again, he absorbs, or again, he holds the idea of the pathetic fallacy, but the term as pathetic fallacy is discovered later on, after, again, William Wordsworth. But we can relate it to him, since he is personifying nature. He is given at human attributes. Fine? Okay. The second thing is what? It gives us joy and pleasure. And I think it is clear here. Since it is joyous. Since it is harmonious. And this will take us to another dimension here, which is the relationship between nature and the humans. There should be a kind of unity. Harmony between nature and the human. And again, between the natural objects themselves. So here, in the daffodils, you will see this relationship. Again, between the human or the poet and nature with nature. So, the daffodils are dancing with each other. And, what else? Beneath what? Beneath the lake. Now, lake is a natural object. And you have the daffodils also natural. So, again, you have a unity between all the natural objects inside the poem or any poem of William Wordsworth.
Including man?
Including man,
This is
yeah.
like what is going to prepare us for the natural oneness.
Yeah, exactly.
In
The
rhyme of
unity, the
ancient
oneness,
melody.
yeah.
Color is the rhyme of the ancient melody.
Exactly. Yes, right. So what is the third thing? It is that it is a moral teacher. It gives us lessons. Lessons by what? By pleasure. Now when you are pleased, you can get whatever you cannot get in, what mood? When you are not happy or unhappy. Fine? When you are sad. But if you feel that you are comfortable, you are pleased, so you will get whatever, again, you can. Fine? Okay. So, from this again, the word nature here. We mentioned that it is a moral teacher. It gives us pleasure. It gives us joy. It is a comforting power. There should be a kind of unity between humans and nature, nature and nature. So nature is a very crucial word in William Wordsworth's poetry. Fine? So, you have, again, those ideas regarding the poet, poetry, and nature. We mentioned that the poet is a man who is expressing his ideas, his feelings, in a way which is different from common people, even though we can consider him as a common man. And there should be a kind of, let's say, companionship, union between him and nature itself, in order to reflect whatever he feels, whatever he thinks. Fine? And this will take us to a specific expression can be said about the Romantic period, which is what I felt before I thought. So again, feeling precedes thinking for the Romantics. But in the other periods, they said what? I think, therefore I am. Now what distinguishes me as a human creature here in this universe? It is thinking only. I think, therefore I am. So feelings are taken away. They are not considered totally. Since you have reason, so you are a living human. But here, since you have feelings and emotions for the Romantics, so you are a human. Again, this word doesn't delete the word reason totally. We need some reason in order to make a kind of balance in our life.
We need sense and sensibility.
That's it, yeah.
You know, and we need Jane Austen, who was a romantic, you know?
Yeah, that's it. So.
Okay, I think you're done.
Yeah, I am done totally.
I don't know, I have nothing except thank you there. And I wish like the relationship between nature and the poet would apply to the relationship between the students and the teachers, you know? Yeah, it's very like reciprocal relationship. It should be like this relation of respect. You know, we want like to have this relation with the students. And I think, you know, it's an amazing lecture given by Mrs. Ahlam. We appreciate, you know, it very much. She gave us enough background to understand, you know, like the poem next time. And I think, you know, the presenter next time, Ms. Ola, will have, you know, a good audience because you have a good understanding of now Romanticism. So let's see what will happen next time. Thank you again and see you next time. Bye.